Get more of you guys in here. More of you guys in here. What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon, and I think it's good afternoon for almost everybody in the United States right now. It's 3 o'clock Eastern time, so it's probably 2 o'clock where you guys are, maybe 1 o'clock, maybe 12 o'clock. But what's up, everybody? What's going on, Argy? I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling great. Just bear with me, guys. I'm gonna hang out with you for about an hour. This one was completely unscheduled. But for the newcomers and for people just jumping in, I'm going to go live tomorrow, and I'm also going to go live Friday. Maybe on Thursday and Friday, I'll go live for 2-3 hours. But for today, it's only going to be for 1 hour and 1 hour only. What I want to say is thank you, everybody, for subscribing to the channel, liking, commenting below, getting into arguments with each other over Mopards versus Infinity, BMWs versus Infinity, and just us just talking about car lingo. So I'm just super appreciative of all you guys and hanging out with me. I'm so solely appreciated. But anyways, guys, let me just I gotta just get you guys comments on this on my cell phone, and then we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk for about a good hour. All right. Guys, all right. So who signed in? Oh, Dorian, what's going on? What's going on, Peck? What's up, man? So if you guys got any questions, I'll be hanging out with you guys for about an hour. Any updates I could give right now about the car? No, there's really no updates on the car right now. We're chilling. The car is chilling. There's really no issues. It's been really hot. If you guys live in the United States or damn anywhere, it's been pretty hot for the last few days. So there's really no car things going. And I've been was a little busy last weekend. What's going on, Brian? What I've been up to? I've been good, man. Everything's well. Everyone's feeling well. I hope you guys and your families are doing great. Seems like infection rate is kind of stabilizing, but going up in some places, hotspots. But, you know, this is just what we continue to go through. A lot of us, we wanted a summer. We wanted to do a lot more, but unfortunately, we have to live this new normal until it becomes normal or until there's a vaccine. But anyways, I'm going to be hanging out with you guys. If you guys got any questions, jump right in. I'm at your disposal for the next hour, so you decide to go with the Killer Chiller. How is that going? Yes, William. Yeah, I got the Killer Chiller probably 2 to 3 months ago, but I haven't installed it yet because when COVID originally happened, I couldn't. Joe at Killer Chiller, what happened was he couldn't get the parts to build the kit. He was telling me, so I didn't get the kit until June, like mid-June. But I'm going to be able to install it hopefully within the next week. I have time off from work, so hopefully I can get to All Out Motorworks and have it installed. I do want to record it, but the shop isn't air conditioned, so 90-degree weather putting a Killer Chiller in is going to probably kill me, and we don't like heat. But if not, I'll just send my car there and then maybe have a friend come pick me up and I'll come back when it's finished. But we'll see. I want to get everything on video regardless because it's good to see installation and everything like that. Hey, what's going on, VZ? What's up, man? I know I'm not going to get much of you guys on live today because, you know, it's mid-afternoon. Usually I go live later, like 7, 8 p.m., maybe even later at night. On Instagram, I usually go live right around that time if I do. I got to get good at, like, letting you guys know before I jump in. Just bear with me. Don't beat me up about that. Peck came out with a vaccine. Okay, round 3 of testing. The U.S. government about 700 vaccines. About keep it safe. Well, when it comes to vaccines, you know what's crazy about it? A lot of people won't take it. Like, unless they make some kind of federal mandate, most people are not going to take it because either they already have the antibodies or they just don't trust a vaccine. But you know what? There's politics about that. And at the end of the day, do I trust sticking random fluid in my blood? No, unless I'm dying. Like, if I'm dying, I'll stick it in. I'll stick anything in my blood if I'm dying. But when I'm okay, I'd rather not take it. That's my personal opinion, you know. That's just my personal opinion. I want us all to survive and be well, you know. Okay, let me see. What are some of the precautions one should take when upgrading turbos? Look into sufficient cooling. Pretty much you should have an upgraded heat exchanger or the fender tank from AMS. I would go with a higher grade or higher viscosity of oil. So most of these cars come with 020. 020 is pretty much a fuel efficient oil. It allows you to have better gas mileage, but depends on the tolerances. The tolerance is pretty much the space between like the bearings and the metal surfaces. But I've noticed that and read on high performance motors, they usually go with a 40 or 50 weight. That's what I've noticed with excess heat from the oil, and or as oil temperature goes up, oil pressure goes down. And when you lose oil pressure, you lose metal components such as motor and or turbo. So I would recommend going with a thicker oil, maybe a 30 weight, 5W30, which they recommend, or maybe even a 40 or 50. I wouldn't really recommend talking to Infinity about it because they don't care. Like, they're just like, yo, it's 20 or 30. But if you go like a performance shop, they'll recommend you what oil you should actually go with. And cooling, other than that, get properly tuned by a good tuner. And lastly, if you can, buy some blower valves. I recommend it. I think blower valves is a plus regardless if you're stock, if you're JB4, or even if you're tuned. Even though Infinity didn't design the system there, they didn't care that we didn't need blower valves with the cars. They should have still designed some kind of diverter valve system. That's just my opinion. Did you run against one stock F30 BMW that day when I went to the track? Oh, no, of course not. But Alchemist, what the Q60 did, I think I posted the video of them racing. Yeah, he raced him, but I wouldn't race a car that has 400 more wheel horsepower than me. I mean, I do it with Hellcats, but it's because they're rear-wheel drive, so I know I can get off the hole on him. He's all-wheel drive, so it would have been like we left the same, and then there would have been like him shooting into the stratosphere, and I would have just been looking up at the stars like, whoa, wow, that's a fast car. But I know his car is stupid fast. Next Q60 leads. Planning on JB4, fast intentions CATBACK, 3-inch low downpipes, red alpha cold air intake, 300 horsepower, little on power. For Dillard, think the mods will keep least enthusiasts happy. Well, to be quite honest, yeah. I mean, if you have the JB4 makes you quicker, and I would say that the tune makes you faster. Is that even the right way of saying it? Okay, let's just say fast and faster. So let's say the JB4 makes you fast, and the full-fledged tune make you faster. You're going to be 300 horsepower version, so depending on your map, you're going to put close to 400 wheel horsepower. That's right around 450 horsepower at the crank. It's a big bump in power. You'll definitely enjoy it. It's very safe for your if you're leased or your finance, and you don't really have to worry about much, especially with your bolt-ons. But at some point, you're going to be like, I really want to be able to walk away from 392s. I think on JB4 in a road race with a 300 horsepower version VR, you'll be like door to door with a 392. But once you get tuned, that's when you get to walk away. So yeah. What's going on, Daily Q50? Fastest Q50 in the chat. Well, at least the world record holder. And I feel bad for you, man. That seems like it's a common thing, that when you put in the high pressure fuel pump from AMS, that you lose injectors. So unfortunately, you have to go through that, but it is what it is, man. You got to pay to play. And, you know, people have been doing this before. Bear with me, guys. I'm eating too, so, you know, it's afternoon. You know, you got to eat sometime. Congrats on almost hitting 25K, bro. And you know what's funny? My goal is to hit 25K. Well, originally my goal 6 months ago was to hit 50K by August 1st. Of course, I couldn't put out a bunch of videos. I couldn't get into a bunch of races. I want to do a lot of ratchet shit. And bear with me if you guys got kids, you might have me on TV or anything like that. I want to do a lot of a bunch of races and videos so I could just try to gain a lot of traction on the channel in the last 6 months. But I couldn't do it, especially with COVID. So, of course, you got to just, you know, shoot for the moon but land with the stars. So pretty much 25K was my second choice. And, you know, I'm almost there. I got another 150 people. And if they choose to subscribe to the channel in the next 3 days, I'll be great. If not, it's okay. You know, regardless, it's going to come. Progress is going to come. You got to take your time. You guys got, you know, you got to go for your dreams. But at some point, you'll get there. Everyone's not running the same race. That's what I would say. But thank you, man. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. What are some of the vehicles you're looking to race in the near future? At PEC, I'm glad that I got to race a lot of stock Hellcats, 392s. I want to be able to race a C8. I believe that's at horsepower is around our range. So I'm supposed to have JMC Rides YouTube. I don't know if you know JMC Rides. He has a C8, and I think he only did the CATBACK on it. That's pretty much it, or the AXLEBACK, because you know the motor's in the back. So there's really no full-fledged CATBACK. I'm supposed to race his car. I know that because I know his car, you know, it's about a 500 horsepower car. good transmission, good motor, mid-engine. I would love to race also mod for mod 340i. So pretty much a 93 tuned 340i. I would like to race one that's bolt on and 93 tuned. And pretty much if a new NXX come out and anything that's around 400 to 500 horsepower, no matter how old the car is or how new the car is, as long as it's around that horsepower range, I want to give you guys a good race. If it's ridiculous, if it's like a red eye with 800 horsepower and it's rear-wheel drive, then yeah, I would do that in the street. It's still, even though I know I may lose, it's still a good comparison because it was still a street race. If you guys were at a stoplight and that person had that red eye, you guys saw the way I took off, and that was the person that kind of get to know their car. So in a stoplight race, I would have technically won, and they would have been like, damn it, But in a quarter-mile race, red eyes run mid to high 10s with tire. Like those things are fast. Bear with me, guys. I'm glad you guys are jumping in right now. I just want to say thank you, man. I just want to say thank you to all you guys who have subscribed to the channel, like and comment, man. You guys been hanging out with me. You guys are hanging out with me at 3:00 p.m. Eastern time. I know some of you guys may be on lunch break, or you might be at work just bored, or you might be at home with the family or your friends and, eating, drinking, trying to socialize or socially distance. I'm just so appreciative of it, man. And you guys been jumping in here, hanging out with me with the journey, man. I'm just so loving. I'm just so thankful of it, man. You guys don't know how much you guys make me smile, man. Let me get to the question. The Bubble Civic that Bubble. If you guys don't know Mod to Fame, go check his channel. He raced a all-wheel drive Civic, and it's fast. I mean, if you know power versus weight, then yeah. But that Civic was fast. Let me see. Have you seen anyone mod a 2.0T? Yes, Jason. People do mod 2.0Ts. They don't do extensive modification because it is a Mercedes motor. I don't know what Mercedes necessarily does with that motor, but you can tune that car. You can get 1 or 2 CATBACks on the market. I believe there's like a few intakes and a intercooler. They actually make an air-to-air intercooler, I believe, for that model. But you don't really gain no historic amount of power. And I haven't seen anybody change the turbos because the turbo on that is probably the size of this cup. Like literally, the turbo is super small. So definitely look into that if you do have a 2.0T. But there's also, I believe, a JB4 Burger Tuning JB4 boost controller and a race chip. I believe it's Race Chip Technologies or something. They also make a boost controller for that car. So you can get a 30 to 40 horsepower, and that's about it. No AMS spool. Okay, cool. So sorry, Daily Q50, but it's gonna happen regardless. Even if it's the AMS version or the spool performance high pressure fuel pump, most people run into those issues no matter the E content. So that's what sucks about it. I want you to hit 100K by Christmas. Hey, Ray, man, like I'm gonna say it again, man. I would love to. You know what though? Subscribers don't really, it means a lot because you guys want to hang out during the ride. But at the end of the day, I'm not forcing anybody. I put content out. Most of my views come from 60% of people who are not subscribed. Think about that. 60% of my views come from people who are not subscribed. So they do watch my videos, but they're like, he was cool, but I'm not going to subscribe. And that's fine. That's fine. It is what it is. Let me speed up with the questions because I'm going to be hanging out with you guys for 1 hour. It is 3:14 Eastern time. So that means I'm going to be logging out in about 45 minutes. All right. I mean, if you guys are extra good to me, I'll probably give another half an hour, but I do have some stuff I have to do later. But I just really wanted to jump in here. And also, I'm going to be live tomorrow too. And I'm also going to be live Friday. So I want you guys to know that if when I leave this live, that I'm going to be on tomorrow and we can talk then. You guys might pop up some more questions to ask me. So just in case you guys forget, you have another chance tomorrow and then the day after. When are you racing? What RPM do you shift at? I'm asking because they kind of fall off after 65.7. When I was JB4, I used to shift right around 6,000 RPM. This is for the first and second gear because I realized the transmission would kind of slip or hesitate a little bit. With the tune, I realized that AMS is a good something with the tune where it shifts a lot better, but I still shift because I don't like that lagging hanging feeling of the transmission. So I still try to typically shift right around 6,000, 55 to 6,000 RPM in the first and second gear. After that, I let it rev out because you need to gain some mile an hour. This is for guys who like to go to drag racing or do this type of spirited driving. Should have the car back by Monday once the tune is done. 10s in the street. Yo, I mean, Daily Q50, man. Yo, I'm glad that you're doing it. Okay, God bless. Okay, some kind of contamination in delivery system messes up the injector. What would win stock? A Red Sport rear-wheel drive or a Camaro SS? A Camaro SS should win. The car just has more top end. A Camaro SS, like the Red Sport is 400 and something. It's 400 horsepower. It's dyno somewhere around 350 wheel. The newer Camaro SS is dyno somewhere higher for first thing, they got the new 10 speeds in them now. So there's actually 10 speeds in the new Camaros now. That's number one, I believe, for 2020 or 2019 model. And also on top of that, they have better gearing. So it's gonna walk away, stock for stock. Want to race a 500 horsepower Ford Focus ZX3? Isn't that the older body, Ray? If that's the older body with the hatchback, that thing's probably really like what, like 2,900 to 2,800 pounds or something like that. 500 horsepower is definitely going to destroy me. My car is somewhere right around 440, 450 wheels. So, and power versus weight, it's just gonna, But I wouldn't mind doing it at a track. It is what it is. The only drag racing track that's close to me is Atco Raceway, and that's almost 2 hours away. So, but it has to be worth it, But I'm never gonna really turn down a race as long as it's for fun and for educational purposes only. Let me see. Support boost, man. Thank you, man. We appreciate you. I love your videos. I am not an Infinity owner. I am a car buff. That's what I'm talking about, Ray. Like, I appreciate that because if you just into cars, you into cars. Like, that's it. Like, it don't matter if it's a Japanese, European, or American. I love American cars. I think they're dope. Not all of them are dope, though. But do you guys see that new Bronco? That guys like it? To me, it looks just like a Jeep. I just want you guys to know that. The front end is nice, but from the side profile, it looks like a Jeep. Was it a Wrangler? Pardon me, guys. You guys can probably comment below. It's probably a Wrangler or something like that. It looks just like it. But it's good that there's other cars out there you can jump to. Boost, make sure you tell people to like the video to get more exposure. Yeah, man, if I got 50 people liking, I should have 50 likes, man. If you guys are watching, hit that like button, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, VZ. Hey, don't read this comment. Hey, really, Stinky? Good one, man. Should my buddy buy and tune a 3.0 or 3.0 Red Sport? Alex B, it's your friend's prerogative. If he wants the top tier version of this model or model car, the Red Sport is it. But if he can save a few $1,000s and just get a 3.0 or a 3.0 Sport, then I would recommend doing that because it's not like the Red Sport version is going to be that much more better. Like once both these cars get tuned, they're going to be the same car. Like there's nothing different about the Red Sport's engine, and that's going to make it better. Should I go be tuned on my Q50? At J Lazar, what I would say is continue to do your reviews or join the Q50 Q60 group on Facebook if you have a Facebook, and ask people. It's over 20,000 people in there, and a lot of them have tried out different tuners, and they give their personal reviews on what tuners you should go with. So what I would say is there's two things, and for the people that are watching, no matter what car you own out there, it doesn't matter if you have an Infiniti, a Ford, a Lamborghini. This is what I would say. Two things you look for in a tuner. Number one, it's either their shop car or they make products for it. So that means that they own the car as a company and they get to be able to revise and dialogue and get good at that craft. Or number two, your tuner is an owner of that car. So it's a regular person like me that have a Q50 and I tune my Q50 and I continue to get better at it and revise it because that means I have ownership of it. If this company or person does not have ownership of that car or have ownership in that car in months or years, doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing. It's just that at the end of the day, they're not the master of that craft because they don't have ownership of it. So that's my recommendation. Get tuned by someone who owns that car because you should trust them because they don't want to blow their own car up. Or two, a shop that owns that car because they know everything about it, down to the nuts and bolts. That's my opinion. Sorry, Jay Lazar, for not being, getting right to the answer. I just wanted to be fair to people, you know. I think that you would slay with a 3.0 force. Yeah, I mean, if I had a Texas Boost Life's, if you guys don't already know, subscribe to Texas Boost Life's channel. He has the YQ50 6-speed manual swap with a big supercharger that made about 800 wheel. Yeah, there's not much. There's a lot of fast 3.7s out here, but they're not like racers, or they don't have like a clout or enough eyes on them for people to be like, wow, these cars are fast. I mean, you got Texas guys, those cars are all fast. Like, you need at least 1,000 wheel horsepower and you're still slow. So that's not like somewhere where we could get much exposure. But if I had a 3.7 built rods and pistons and maybe a single turbo, rear mounted turbo, or a large blower supercharger, yeah, I think this channel will probably explode, because I'll be one of the few people that's probably out there going apples and apples with wide body Hellcats that are tuned on the 85, you know. Let me see. Let me continue, guys. Give me a second. Midnight says, what supporting mods would I need to make 600 to 700 wheel horsepower? Would I need upgraded internals? At Midnight, at this current moment, 600 wheel horsepower is the ceiling for this platform. Right now we have pure turbos, I believe version 2 or stage 2, I can't remember. You guys can comment below. You guys know what I'm talking about. With E85 fuel, right around E50, E60, this car makes, when full bolt-ons, makes right around 600 plus wheel horsepower. But that is pretty much the benchmark. We can't get any higher than that. We're still limited on one, fuel. The injectors, we still on stock injectors, so they can't deliver enough fuel yet, so we're still limited on that. If you can add more fuel, guess what you can do? Add more boost, and that means you can make more power. 2, we do have the larger fuel pumps that are out now, but we're still waiting on injectors. 3, I would say honestly, it's still a high compression motor, so we still don't know the limitations on the rods and pistons yet for this car. We still don't know. Even though AMS have said to different people between 550, 600 for the transmission and the motor, we don't know yet. But 700 wheel horsepower is not where we're at right now on stock motor, stock transmission. Pretty much, we're not there yet on stock turbos or upgraded wheel turbos. Bear with me, guys. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, the 2.0 that Infinity uses was created jointly with Mercedes. Yep. Did that Civic race the BMW? No, he didn't race that BMW. Any forums you know in San Antonio for Q50s? Thanks for the videos. At Reyes, check the Q50 Q60 group on Facebook and just ask, hey, any guys from San Antonio? People will jump in and say, yeah, me too. So you could just, meet up with other people. Ray, okay, cool. What's up, Boost? I just got a 2018 Q50. I'm thinking about getting RSR super low springs. What are your thoughts? I would say stay away from, I know they have the downs and the super downs. If you're going to do lowering springs, most of you guys are not going to like what I say. I wouldn't get lowering springs in the first place. I'd rather just do it right the first time. That's one of the things I always get right, at least the suspension. But when it comes to lowering springs, I would recommend getting just the regular downs. They lower your car right around that, I think 1.4, 1.5 inch, and it's a lot easier on the struts. It won't beat the struts up. When you go with the super downs, you go almost at 2-inch range, and the struts are only designed to handle but so much. When you lower the car so much, you take it out the threshold of the suspension. So it's never really given the proper rebound and coil and everything for the. I hate to be suck at the lingo on video for you guys, but pretty much it just pushes the struts out there the threshold, and they won't perform properly, and they can blow over time and over start leaking. So go with just the regular downs. That's my recommendation. But if you can save up, see if you can actually purchase a good set of coilovers. Megan Racing, BC Racing coilovers. Reason being is you have more adjustability. Once you get lowering springs, that's it. That's how you have to drive at. What if it's too low for you? What if you have a driveway? There's certain places that you have to run certain imperfections. With me, I still take my car to go through machine washes. So if it's too low, it actually hits the road, and I can't wash the car through machine washes. So I don't like washing my car by hand. So with coilovers, excuse me, guys, with coilovers, you can adjust the height. You can adjust the dampering. Pretty much that's the shock and rebound. That's the comfort level of how the suspension feels. Also, you can adjust. You can definitely adjust the spring rates. So this is how quickly the shock would bounce back, and/or the spring would bounce back depending on how much weight you go. You have 8K springs, which are usually a lot softer spring, or you can go up to 30, 40K springs, which are super stiff, like race car stiff. So there's so much adjustability, and that's why I would still recommend an advocate of coilovers. All right. Yeah, okay, I did recommend the thing for him for the boost. Okay. Do you ever see yourself going head to head with Stefan's Red Eye? Stefan. Oh, you mean Steph from what you call it? He should be getting his Red Eye back. I hope he is. But Red Eyes are fast. Like, you guys saw me race the white Red Eye from a dig, and it was stock, and it was girl driven, and she did launch great, and she just. So I know that Steph already a great driver, stick shift, and he got plenty of seat time behind a Red Eye that he would have done even better than she would have. Like, I would have looked really bad. So, I mean, I would do it maybe if he has the car back, but it was just good to document it. It's gonna just be worse with a better driver. That's what I'm gonna say. It's gonna look bad. For me. Okay. I have a 2993. What's a 29? Ray John, what's a 2993? I'm not very familiar with that. Red Sport has a neat automatic lane control. Okay. Our G37 is still a good platform to hit at least 500 wheel horsepower. At this current moment, they're going right around apples and apples with the VR30 community. I've seen a lot of people do right around 550 to 650 wheel horsepower on sealed block on E85 and NEF. That's usually with supercharger or like a turbocharged build. So people are definitely doing it on that high compression motor, sealed, nothing changed. So if you get the car for relatively cheap, and if you can start the build, try to budget, like buy good parts such as a good turbo, blower valve, and wastegate, but and then get a good welder, and then finally a good tuner, an E85. Yeah, it could be a great platform because you can get the car for as almost cheap as $5,000 depending on which one you get. So it's up to you though. It's going to be a little bit more hands-on compared to a VR30 where the turbo stuff is already necessarily done for you, and you just got to buy bolt-ons and a tune. AMS is using their waitlist as a way to determine the price. Nordstrom said the new injectors would be cheaper compared to other aftermarket injectors, but they're going to be they're going to be outrageous. Of course, if I was talking about this with Enthusiast POV yesterday on Instagram Live, and we stated I think he said that the stock injector is like around 150, 175. So I would assume an injector that flows more fuel will probably be a little bit more expensive. I don't know how much more, maybe 30, 40, 50% more. Hopefully it's not astronomical, because just look at a GTR's upgraded injectors and see how much they flow. Maybe you can use that as a reference. And what we were talking about is this injector maybe from an Audi or Volkswagen. You never know. Sometimes companies rebrand things, but this is just an opinion. I don't want you guys going to AMS and like, Boost said this. No, just my complete opinion. Let me see. Check out Switchback Racing. Okay, I know Switchback Racing. He makes a turbo kit that produces 600 to 700 horsepower. Of course, you have to have the proper mods and parts to help keep rush. Okay, cool. I recommend air cups for anyone that wants to raise and lower their height. At PEC, I wanted to get air cups on my G when I had my OG. Give me a second. I wanted to get air cups with my coilovers, but the price point I think was right around $1,500, and pretty much when they're closed, they ride like regular, like when you coilovers. But when you air them up, it just gives you that little bit of 2 to 3 inches of height that you may need. So it's just a convenience thing. But at that point, the price point, I think it was like $1,500 to $2,000. You can get almost a bare bones air suspension kit for almost that price. So when I looked at it, I was like, this technology might just be, I won't say outdated, but there's better options out there for a little bit more, But everyone has a use for different reason, right? So that's it, Let me see. Bear with me, guys. Your boost. I'm thinking about BC coils, man. But in Brooklyn, I don't know. How about you? Harris, I've had BC Racing coilovers on this car for about 4 or 5 years. Before that, I had it on my G. Before that, I didn't have BC Racing coilovers. I had Megan's, K Sports, Jack GICs. I had D2s. I had about 6 or 7 different brands of coilovers, but I realized that BC Racing, they're pretty much all the same type of brand. When you really look at it, like they all come from the same like manufacturer technically, but they just all rebranded with their own LLC, brand on it. But the BC Racing coilovers have treated me great. So you just got to get a bare bones kit, and you can adjust the dampering. If you feel like the suspension's too stiff, you just put it to the soft side, just turn a knob, and that's it. And you're like, wow, the car drives so much more better. You'll be surprised, man. Once you get in a car that has coilovers and it's set up right, you'll understand. For a dude who was asking about, okay, cool. I had my eye on a blue Red Sport. Make sure I didn't miss some questions. Low miles for 25K. It got sold when I went to buy it. Yeah, that happens, man. These cars are gonna start being hotcakes on the used car market because you can get them for right around $20,000 with a twin turbo, all-wheel drive or road drive, and they don't look bad. They're still in, they're still current cars, and yeah, you can flex. And they make decent power. And to be honest with you guys, we're in a day and age where a mom's car can make 500 horsepower with a tune and some bolt-ons. You don't even need to go crazy on bolt-ons. You can get just lower downpipes and keep everything else stock and get a tune, and you'll be right around 480, 490 horsepower. That's really good. You know what I'm saying? That's a really fast daily driver, and leave everything else stock. That's good. In regards to my comment, okay, cool, thanks. Boost, what are your thoughts on the Jaguar 3.0 supercharged versus a 2013 S4 3.0 supercharged? I have no idea, at Arthur. I have no idea. I've never driven the 3.0 supercharged V6, and when it comes to the Audi 3.0 supercharged, I haven't driven neither. But what I do know about the 3.0 supercharged V6 is it's a relatively small supercharger, and you really can't do too much. Of course, you can definitely pull it up, and you probably can bore it out or put and polish it to flow a little better. But I haven't really seen crazy numbers. I don't think they're even in 10-second range yet, and it's hard for them to get into, I believe, 11s with E85. Wait. They could get into 11s with E85. From what I followed 2 YouTubers with the 3.0, but it's not. That car doesn't pull a quick 0 to 60s. The 0 to 60s ain't that fast, and it's 60 foot at the track, or like not even that much, like 1.9, 1.8. So I really have no much thoughts on that, man. I don't have any knowledge on it. I'll just sit there and say I have no knowledge when it comes to those two, man. I'm sorry, Arthur. At 60,000 miles, what do you recommend to change on your 2015 Q60? At Kobe, I would recommend, if you have the 3.7, the 7-speed auto, do a drain and fill for the transmission fluid. That's my recommendation. Do a drain and fill. If you do have the one with power steering, not the electric power steering, but the actual regular fluid power steering, change that fluid too. Differentials, rear differential, definitely. Front differential, if you have an all-wheel drive, is probably not used as much, but change that too. And that's about it. That's honestly about it. When it comes to fluids, that's honestly. But I would say definitely the transmission fluid. Most people don't change the transmission fluid on those 7-speed autos, so the transmission starts to slip over time. The transmission is a great transmission, but if you never change the oil, that's it. It's gonna start to slip. It's not gonna feel right. So you have to change the transmission fluid. Manual Q50 would be 3 series nightmares. I don't know. I really don't know, because it'll be a 6-speed manual. I mean, yeah, 6 speeds are nice. We like manuals, save the manuals. But when you sit there and really think about it, more gears means closer gear ratio, which means faster. So that's why 10-speed Mustangs are no joke. Like, they're not any joke at all. They stay in a power band. So that's just my opinion, though. All right, don't beat me up now. Do you know if there's any interchangeable parts on the VR38 to the VR30? David, I have no idea. I don't know what our parts would actually swap over. What parts would we even need? I mean, even the turbos aren't designed like ours. Their motor isn't designed like ours. I mean, it is a derivative of the VR, but when you look at just the way that the turbos are bolted up, completely different. And even air to air, we're air to water. You know, there's so much differences between the two. How are the Mattemetrics carpets holding up? At Reyes, I've had those mats for almost a little over a year, but I sold them early this year for some money. They were great. I enjoyed them. They smell great. I had the cheap Chinese ones too, which were terrible. I cheaped out. I had got them for pretty cheap on eBay. And after like 6 months, they went bad. But the Mattemetrics mats, they smell great and they held up over time. And they also came with this rubber material, like this thick rubber compressible material, which caught like all the grit and rocks and stuff in it. You just dust it out. So I never really scratched up the leather, and it gave the interior a good look. But I realized there's also that I believe it was a company called Diamond Mats or something like that that makes mats or luxe mats that makes a very similar design to Mattemetrics. It's just that Mattemetrics is a smaller company, and I try my best to support the smaller companies. And Mattemetrics was a guy. Shout out to them. They're definitely from Canada based too. Okay. Let me see you gap a Hellcat. I wish I could. I wanted to get a Q50 to tune it, but I heard that the Red Sport gearing is worse than the base. No, the Red Sport gearing is better. It actually has slightly better final drive. So it technically, theoretically, it should be faster if y'all have the same tire and wheel setup. But there's something called change in tire sizes, and the regular final drive on a regular 3.0T would be just as good and or better. So there's always ways to get around final drive. Okay, what are your thoughts on a 2015 Q50 3.7? I got one that's 70 kilometers, 19,000. Well, was curious on what should be the first and what should I model? Okay, that's a big question. Well, if you're talking power, you know, it's just usually the usual. 3.7s usually do test pipes and or high flow cats. I don't know how it is, and I would assume this is Canada because you said kilometers, or maybe somewhere where kilometers is important. So I don't know how your regulations are with getting rid of your catalytic converters, but usually test pipes or high flow cats. Any CATBACK of your choice. This is a CATBACK exhaust system of your choice. Just look for the sound. Takeda intakes is the only one I would recommend, or just leave them stock and put in panel filter, dry filter panels on the regular OEM intakes. And if you want to tune the car, if you care about speed, you tune the car. But otherwise, what I would recommend, once again, I said earlier, change the transmission fluid. Change it. I doubt the last owner changed the transmission fluid. I doubt it. That car's 5 years old now with 79 kilometers. I doubt they ever changed the transmission fluid. I'm telling you. Bear with me, guys. If I use the JB4 to get Red Sport numbers, how much reliability on the turbos am I losing? Well, these turbos are small regardless, and they're gonna get hot regardless, and they're gonna go out at some point regardless. This is not something only for Infinity turbo cars. This is for any turbo car that comes out in the future. Most of these manufacturers are designing their turbos to be cost effective. And when you design them so small, they have to spin really fast. So with wear and tear, it's going to happen. They're going to go out. But yes, with turning up the boost on any car, yes, there's going to be additional wear and tear on the bearings of the turbos. It's just, or it's and/or seals. It's going to happen. The JB4 is relatively safe. So don't think that people can say JB4 is crappy. No, it's perfectly fine. And with a tune, the tune isn't any more stable than the JB4. I think the tuning is actually worse because they're pushing the air fuel ratios and timing into a more, I would say, a better threshold to make more power. But not every tuner is created equal. Some tuners stink, and they might give your cars more problems than it had before the fact. Ray, okay, that's when he talked about the SVT. Wow, you have, okay, IB rods, billet, man, cab with oil squirters, or pump with billet gears. Yo, what's up with the gears, man, that you guys always have to get billet gears? Like, is that something that just always goes in you guys' cars? I realize that about a lot of cars, that they always have to upgrade to, like, billet gears. Like, those things crack with rotation or something like that. A Garrett, oh, GT35. Wow, that car is no joke, bro. I'm not racing that. You just told me the size of that turbo. I'm good. Let me just speak through. You got a 2015 almost 20K. I don't know if FPV is talking to me, but I had a 2015 Q50, but it was a lease. I think he's talking to somebody else. What high independence injectors do you recommend? Looking for 5 well on pump gas and 600 on meth injection. Ray, I'm not. I don't. I'm very. I wouldn't be able to tell you that. I'm so that not that much into building the amount of C, at least saying recommended amount of CCs you're gonna need to flow. So I'm not gonna be able to tell you that. You're gonna have to talk to your tuner and or tuning shop because I don't have that type of knowledge. I'm not that deep yet. Boost, please post videos. Like 400 plus horsepower plan, 500 horsepower plan, 600 plan. Please explain in each video what you need to to teach the much more. Okay, so FO, I think I have a few videos on that already. Because I've documented my journey. If you want 400 wheel horsepower, you can get a JB4 and maybe lower downpipes, and that's it. That's 400 wheel horsepower. If you want 500 wheel 100 horsepower on the VR30, you're gonna need a high pressure fuel pump, low pressure fuel pump, and E85 and a tune for E85 with flex fuel kit. That's gonna give you 500 wheel. Or you can just change your turbo completely and go with a pure turbo or RT turbo and tune the car with bolt-ons on 93 fuel. Give me a second, guys. I got a message. Okay, cool. Ain't nothing crazy. You can do that. That's two things you can do. That can give you 500 wheel horsepower. And if you want 600 wheel horsepower, you're going to have to change your turbos. You're going to have to run the 85. You're going to have to get high pressure, low pressure fuel pump, flex fuel kit, and tune on the 85. You're going to need that. So I've definitely talked about that in the last videos, but you know what? Maybe I should make a quick 10-minute video about it, just explain some of the components needed, and maybe I'll just give it one collective video. So thank you, FO, for that comment. I appreciate that so much. Anthony, yo, Boost, my Q50 has some serious brake noise issues. No matter how many times the mechanic looked at it, he said everything looks fine. You know any brake issues on the 2014, 2015? At Garcia, what is the exact issue? Hopefully I get to your response soon. So I'm gonna kind of blow through it so I can get to the question that you were asking. Hey Boost, respect your thoughts. Okay, cool. Hey Boost, respect your thoughts on the 2020 Red Sport. Okay, that's the wheel specs. All right. 255, 35 is perfectly fine. You just got to make sure that 20/9 clears the spokes, clear the BBK, the brake calipers. So I'm not too positive if that wheel spokes clear that caliper. I would recommend looking on Fitment Industries or any Google image for that wheel on a 370Z, on a G37, because it's a common wheel, to make sure that spec clear the BBK. But the plus 25 on a 9 with regular downs is perfectly fine. So I don't see anything wrong with your wheel here. The offset, the tire size, and the drop looks perfectly fine. It's just that I don't know if the spokes are going to clear the BBK. Let's test the Infinity knowledge. What does the Infinity symbol stand for? When was Infinity created? I don't have that much knowledge. You guys got me on video right now. I love Infinity, but I don't know the history of Infinity. So no, Peck. If I get unsubscribed for you, man, don't beat me up. But I really don't. I wasn't rocking with Infinity that long. I was really more of a Nissan cat. Maximas all day, like period. Maximas, like Ultimas, Maximas, Sentras, like that's it. Like Cressida, but that has nothing to do with Cressida. Has nothing to do with it. But I like Cressidas. I like those older cars. Those are the cars I grew up with where I live. But I'm not gonna have a knowledge. I just know that Infinity was created to be the luxury version of the United States. That's it. That's literally it. And I'm glad that they differentiate themselves from Nissan. They were like, you know what, luxury model. Let's compete with Lexus and Acura. And I like the G35. You know, I like the DE motor that came out. Then I like that they made it rev up. You know, then I like that they decided to add the HR into there, and then the 3.7 VHR. I mean, these are Nissan motors, but at the end of the day, I like that they differentiate themselves. That they had decent motor and they had really good looks compared to Nissan that was like, let's just keep the maximum front wheel drive and let's make everything CVT. You know, so that's as much knowledge I have. But you know, you can beat me up, Peck. You can beat me up, man. Appreciate of that though, man. Appreciate of that. Okay, cool. 1 second, guys. Hey, Boost, you remember, bro? OG, I fixed my car running lean, my BMW. Okay, damn, yo. So your car was, oh yeah, OG. Okay, I remember. Wow, that was a minute, bro. That was a minute ago. I'm glad you got everything fixed. What's up? Oh, that's what my boy. What's going on, VR30? Dill VR30. What's going on? I have a 2.0 BMW. I remember. Yeah, I remember you, man. I appreciate you still hanging with me, man. I got the Garrett Turbo brand new, 582. That's relatively cheap. Stop and end to say what's up. What's going on, Bradford White? Yo, if any guys are a Nissan Altima fans and you enjoy content like that, definitely check out Bradford White's channel, Two Fitted. He has content on the Ultimas, man. Definitely holding down there in the South with Ultima content. Okay, 1200cc injectors. Okay, that's what I was, but I'm not gonna be able to recommend that. I don't know nothing about that to that level. My car did 12.8 and but what? Okay, cool. In the 320, the fact that 12.8 in the 320i is actually really good. That's really good because it's hard for Red Sports to even get in 12s stock. So that's actually really good. How hopefully when the new 400Z comes out, it has a VR30. I hope it better have it. Yo, NYZ Fly Guy, what's up? Oh wow, I thought you were bald. Laugh aloud. Nah, boy, I got hair, man. It's because I always wear a hat. I do cut my hair low. But yeah, I got hair, and I cut my own hair too. I just want you guys to know that. I've always cut my own hair since I was 17, 18, because, you know, broke college student life. So I had to cut my own hair. I appreciated that, man. Also, check out NYZ Fly Guy's channel. He has G37 content. Is also a fellow New Yorkian. So he has that content too. So definitely check him out. Laugh out. That's why I left the 50. I'm making 600 well with him. Okay, cool. JB4. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, man. Yeah, you're gonna make a lot of power, man. Oh yeah, you did trade on us. You did go get an M4, right? M3, right? But you got your dream car. I'm interested in buying merchandise. I'll hit you up. DM. Yo, if you want to buy any of my merch, bro, it's in the Teespring account below. On these videos, I have a Teespring account. You go directly from Teespring. I don't have anything in stock. They take care of all of that. What size needles do you run on the rear when you race, and do you think that size could work with stock suspension? I ran 285 40 R18 Nitto 05Rs. It was on an 18 by 9.5 and 35 offset. I'm lowered, so it cleared. But on stock height, I think it would be more maxi flush, so it'll probably stick out from the sides. You probably could run it, and when you hit bumps, I would hope that it won't hit the rear fender, but I would recommend going with like a 9.5 plus 45, or somewhere around the plus 45 range or plus 50 range on a 285 at stock height tire, just so that it won't be so maxi flush and it'll be pretty much flush on stock height. That's my recommendation. Good question, bro. M4, yep. One thing you should look at is duty cycle for fuel injectors. 100%. That's why most of these injectors are also going out. They're maxed out on this higher amount of E-content rate and how much PSI these guys are running. These injectors, the stock injectors, are not taking it. Like, they're like, we're tired. We're tired. You know, also with the excess amount of pressure from the high pressure fuel pump. I'm not an engineer. Just remember that. I'm not an engineer, but the stock injectors, we only have one. That's it, one model from Nissan. And we have no other injectors. So once other companies say, hey, listen, let's make our own injectors, then we're gonna start seeing the quality start going up, and people can push more PSI. But at that point, what's the point of running plus 22 PSI on these turbos? The charge air is so hot. At some point, and it's still a fairly high compression motor, like, we're gonna run into issues. So that's why I decided to sell it to RT Turbos, because I'd rather just get bigger units. And knowing that Drop Bear LLC is coming out with G25 550s, these are larger units. What's the point of running 20 PSI when I can run 10 and make the same power? Like, you know, cooler air charge, better, higher glass ceiling. Why not? Let's see the limitations on the platform. Hopefully it's done soon, because my wallet is ready. My wallet is ready. I'm gonna cry, but I'd rather be one of the guys doing the leading edge of the next glass ceiling we're gonna run into. And these motors are cheap enough to find, so it's not like shout out to Dill VR30. I mean, he has an M4, but when you lose your motor, bro, it's expensive. These motors are everywhere now. The VR30, you can get these motors for about $1,000 to $2,000 depending on what lot you're going to, or you can get a Hertz car because you know Hertz. You just rent a Q50 from Hertz, and you know do a motor swap if you know what I mean. Don't do that, guys. That was a joke. That was a joke. Don't do that. But laugh out. Okay, Infinity Mount Cake. Thank you, VZ, for correcting me, man. Okay, appreciate that, Rez. Okay, hey, Boost. I'm an RS owner and administrator of Infinity Club of Quebec. Shout out from my fellow Canadians. Love your channel. Thanks for all the good content. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. And I hope you guys are holding it down there in Canada, eh? I appreciate you guys. My brother used to live in Quebec too. So God rest his soul. He passed away like 2 years ago, but he had a house in Quebec, and I love Quebec. Quebec was it Quebecians? I love you guys, man. So cool, and it's nice that you guys y'all bilingual. Y'all can speak French and also American. I love that part. What's up, man? Good to see you. Just staying safe. Okay, I wanted to ask if you have any updates on the grip turtles other than the pures. At this current moment, Drop Bear LLC is still developing their kit, but what I can tell you is they're trying to get it released at the end of this year, and they want one kit to be, I think, 1,000 horsepower kit, and I think another one's gonna be an 800 horsepower kit. So, and they're gonna use G25 Garrett, G25 550 and 660. That's what I remember. That's the turbos they're gonna use. And they're developing the adapter and everything so that it can be able to use with stock wastegate sensors and everything like that. So yeah, they hopefully they do it before the end of this year, because I don't, and AMS too. I don't know what AMS is using, but AMS is always quiet. But you know AMS doesn't play games. I don't know which one's gonna be cheaper either. I don't know if Drop Bear is gonna be cheaper or AMS's version. I don't know, but they're both gonna be expensive. S55 and then 5. I have no idea, bro. S55 and then 5. I bought a boosted performance kit from my 370Z with stage 2 clutch, twin fuel pumps, and CGM fuel system. I'm starting to get discouraged and feel like stopping right at the finish line. No, man, keep going. Don't stop, man. You already committed to it. If it's in, like, keep going that resume. Don't quit. Listen, the payoff is the smiles is in the payoff. You know, and once you finally get everything buttoned up, the car is gonna run great. I don't know what your tuner is gonna be. I'm not too. I don't really recommend. I don't have not enough knowledge on all the best tuners out there for the 3.7. But Monsef on the 3.7 has been doing really good. You also have, Jesus Christ, I can't. You have Z1 Motorsports, and you have a few others out there that's been rocking with the 3.7 community for a decade now. So I would recommend look for the best tuner and the best tuner possible. I did tell you guys I'm gonna sign out at 4 p.m., but I'm having a good time talking with you. So I'm gonna try to hang out there for another half an hour because you guys show me so much love, and I have 55 you guys hanging out with me. So I don't know how much likes I have because I can't see, but definitely hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button already, man. But let's keep going. Hey, Boo's been watching you for some time. Hopefully you can get that coupe. I have a M56 XS, which is pretty rare. You don't really find many XSs. And just got my wife a G37 coupe. Getting an IPL soon. See you around. Thank you, man. Thank you, Kurt. Hopefully you enjoy the car. I actually looked at a silver G37 6-speed manual. The car has a knocking noise. I was gonna hit up the owner, but it was a really cheap price. But I don't really want to buy another motor right now. I don't really like buying a car and knowing that I have to immediately spend money to get it running right. That's just me. I mean, I would rather pay a little extra to get a peace of mind, but knowing that a 2008 G37 has gasket issues, it's hard for me it's very hard pressed for me to spend $7-8 grand on a car that's going to have an issue. You guys know it's going to be my daily driver, but it's also going to be a car that I'm going to put through its paces. So, and the gallery gasket going makes me lose a motor. So knowing that money has to be spent regardless, I want to spend the less amount of money as possible. I got in a cooler 6.5 inch. I would assume Pilot 4S's, catless downpipe, muffler, transmission tune. Okay, that's how you write ran a 12.8. Okay, cool. M4. Okay. Everyone that moves from Infiniti goes to BMW. At Ramos, you're right. I mean, BMW is the better brand. As much as I love Infiniti, I love Infiniti. I love Nissan. I would still say when it comes to driver performance, we want a driver interaction. BMW is one of the top companies out there. Even when I've driven regular BMWs, and I hate to say I'm impressed by regular ones, but yes, they drive really good. It's just something that they put in their engineering. I would say that I'm not saying ride comfort. It's just the handling of their car. It's good. I like that. Compare. Okay, so this cat said lost fresh kicks. Well, fresh kicks really didn't really. He's an Infiniti Nissan guy too, but at the end of the day, he's running a channel, a larger channel, and he can get different cars. And shout out to Enthusiast POV for saying this. Fresh Kicks gets different cars because then he can bring more people to his channel. This allows him to branch off and become a bigger channel because he has experience with different makes and models, and also he can have a huger fan base. My channel is not a big channel because I'm primarily just with the Q50. That's a common car, but not a common car for people who want performance. But if I had, let's say, a Hellcat, my channel will probably do a lot better because a lot of people look at Hellcats like, oh, those cars are so fast, they're so mean, they look so good, and they're quick. So people would probably gravitate to my channel. I bet you if I had this help, the way that I'm hands-on with you guys and talk about stuff, and I had a Hellcat, my channel probably have 150,000 subscribers because there's so much eyes that would want to get that content and it'll be valuable. That's just what it is. Compare with a VR30 and 3.0T. What did you say earlier, bro? I assume compare the VQ37 versus 3.0T. They both have high compression motors, which is relatively well. I mean, the 3.0T has slightly lower compression, but they're still different. It's not even the same part of the same family. So I really can't compare the two. One's naturally aspirated, one has two turbos onto it. It's totally different. Howdy from Texas. What's going on, man? A 400Z with a VR30 would be the best thing to happen to aftermarket support platform. Yes, you're right. If they drop the 400Z and we get the VR30, the Q50 Q60 is going to have now more parts. There are going to be a bunch of these big companies now that will start making turbo kits immediately. They will make turbo kits immediately. And the funny thing is, you guys who've been rocking with the VR30 community for the last few years, then you're going to be like, wait, we've been doing this forever. Like, this isn't something new, but at least it will give us more aftermarket support. If you really get into a BMW, it's not that complicated to make power. Very true. Power limit on RT turbos. At this current moment, the highest power limit, I believe, is, I think Joseph, his white Q60 at 580 wheel horsepower. I haven't seen anybody touch 600 wheel horsepower on RTs yet. So 580 wheel horsepower. Yep, I love Infiniti, BMW. Okay, cool. Some of us choose Infiniti or BMW, Mercedes. Not everyone bought an Infiniti because it's cheaper. Some people paid 50K for their Qs, which is true, Peck. You're right. Some people I love my car, man. I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy driving my car. It's just that the glass ceiling and performance is what's holding me back. I want a bit more, and I just want the aftermarket to give us more options. And I like being an Infiniti guy that pulls up. Like, when I go hang out, meet people, I'm like the only Infiniti guy. Like, it's cool. It's cool. You know, it's nice knowing that you can hang out with the big dogs in power wise, or at least spirited driving. Injectors, LSD, turbo options are very low in comparison with other platforms. He's right. We don't have that. I just seen a G37 for 5K. Yup. Admin tuning up on the 2015 Q50. I need a tune. What do you need to get a pop and flame map? For the 3.7, what I would recommend, first you're gonna need a tune. You at least need to decat the car. So you're gonna need test pipes. Second thing you need to do is a muffler delete. Of course, I would want you guys to get a full CATBACK and all that, but the reason why is you want to get rid of any restrictions in exhaust. So test pipe and a muffler delete and a tune. Literally, you can leave everything else stock, and then you could get the pops, the flames, and all of that. It's a lot easier for the fuel to be dumped and ignite. That's if you guys care about that. But mileage, no one is paying 50K for a Q. You can get them for half price. Well, Ramos, to be honest, that's how all cars are, though. They're all going to depreciate, you know, except for a lot of those exotics that depreciate and then go back up. But most cars depreciate. That's unfortunate. How much horsepower do pure stage max out at? I've seen 630. At VZ, yes, you're seeing the same information that I've seen. Most people have been doing right around 590 to about 630 low horsepower on the pures. And like an E60 mix. And that's in Florida Heat. So shout out to, I think his name is Slow Q60 and a few other people. Edwin Young. Shout out to those guys for pioneering, and shout out to Hussein at Racebox. A lot of those guys been pushing the 600 horsepower community up there. Could you just wait? Could be just lifter tick on the silver G37. These valve trains tend to be quite loud. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're gonna run into the gallery gasket issue on the 08s to 2012, 2013. So if you're getting lifter tick, it's probably because of a lot of sludge maybe backed up or whatever the case might be. But still, at that point, change it. Just change the motor. Because I mean, I'm gonna bid on the car regardless. But I'd rather not spend a $1,500 to change a motor, and I'm gonna have to get a 2014 motor at least. So that's gonna be at least $1,500, another $1,000 to put in. That's $2,500 in parts. I mean, at that point, if I ever have to put a motor in, look at me, guys. If I ever have to put a motor in, like get a whole separate motor, I'm gonna take that motor, tear it apart, and put rods and pistons and bearings in it. Retain. I'm redoing it. I'm not. It just makes sense. I want to do the job once. So at this point, that's what I would do. I'm just upgrading to RT turbos without doing anything else. Would that work and give more horsepower? No programming, nothing else. Well, you have to at FO. You have to tune the car. You just can't throw in RT turbos. I mean, the car will start and run, but the boost pressure. I mean, the amount of boost pressure that the car is going to be calling for, it's going to have a higher amount of air or oxygen or charge air, you would say. So it's going to run lean. It's going to be giving you a lot more air for the boost, but then the car is going to try to correct it. It's going to be all confused. The car will run, but no, you want to get the car tuned properly, man. When you make those type of changes and parameters to the car, you have to get it retuned, at least when it comes to those drastic modifications. Wait, what are you, okay, what else? Okay, what's your thoughts on the G37 sedan? Just got one and really like it. I had a G37 sedan, so it's good. If you like the sedan, it's good. It's a good car. It'll run you real good. So it could be a good daily driver. Not much room though, I would say. I wish you had a bit more room, but the Q50 doesn't have much room. I would say if you just like sedans, I don't really know what else to tell you, man. You bought the car because you like it, right? And I mean, I know I want us like an asshole in the video, but if you like the car, you committed to it. You took your hard-earned money and you bought it. So, you know, do what you got to do with it. Unless you want to get a bit more detailed. Nissan has some great motors. I have an M2 Sentra SR swap, SR20D. That's a common swap too. I have used it to kill. I mean, of course, the Sentra is super lightweight though. You know, you're gonna beat a lot of cars with an older car with a swapped-in motor, a turbo motor, or even a larger motor. Like when people LS swap the 300ZXs, I'm like, wow, this is dope. When people put the VQ in there, I'm like, why y'all do that? Like, you guys just wasted this motor swap? Why would you put a 3.7 in a 300ZX? Like, why did you do that? Like, I mean, I know it's cheap to do, but it's like you could have went with something way more powerful, you know? But that's just my opinion, though. I paid $40,000 for my unused Red Sport. Okay, I mean, it's up to you, man. At the end of the day, everyone's money is different. If you got the money, do it. Like, I leased my car because it was way more affordable for me to lease. On the used market, my car would have been $35,000, $40,000. So paying $400 or $500 a month is a lot more cheaper for me for 3 years. That's what, about 18 grand for 3 years. It's a lot more affordable to pay. And plus I don't have that commitment of having to keep the car. But everyone's different, man. You know, if you're gonna commit to the car and you're gonna keep the car 5, 7, 10 years, I don't see what's wrong with buying it new. Same thing if you bought it used after you took a depreciation hit. But I would always recommend, if you can, purchase a car 2 to 3 years old. At least a lot of the depreciation has went away, and then you won't get hit as hard. But both ways, we're all gonna lose at some point. It's like stocks. You buy it high. As long as you don't sell it, you didn't lose money, unless the company chooses to claim bankruptcy or reverse split you, and then you're freaking screwed. But you don't lose money until you sell. Boost, what's up? What's going on, man? Exactly. I have a coupe, but I got total, so I had to get it on nails. And coupe had 250K. What? That's a lot of mileage. So I knew it was very solid platform, and I had some mods. Figured I could do the same on a sedan. Yeah, Kyle, you can do the same thing on a sedan. It's the same modifications, test pipes, catback exhaust, intakes, and the same type of tune. It's very similar. I don't really see anything different. I believe even the sway bars are interchangeable. Almost everything's interchangeable between the sedan and the coupe. Jumping guys, if there isn't anything that's interchangeable, unless it's all-wheel drive to road drive, I know there's a difference there. But I believe this. No, are the sways interchangeable? I can't remember. I cannot remember if the sway. I believe the sway bars are interchangeable. I just cannot remember. Comment below, guys, if you know. It's been a while. I haven't been in that game in a while. Hey, new to your channel, bro. What's the first upgrade I can do to my 3.7 to make it fast as F? Well, at LA Boxing, yo, don't beat me up, brother, or gal. I don't know. I assume because it doesn't have your sex in, but it's not gonna be fast, bro. It's not. I'm being honest with you. You have a small displacement motor. It's 3.7, so the best bang for its buck modification that can give you a tiny boost or a bump in performance will be high flow cats and or test pipes. This pretty much is when you delete the catalytic converter of your car, and you take away a lot of the restriction off the headers, off the engine itself, so it could just excel a lot better. So that's my recommendation. There's different brands out there that are relatively cheap, between about $100 to $400. It's up to you, but all test pipes are almost created equal when it comes to this platform. I would just say stay away from Megan test pipes. This is for the 3.7 guys. Stay away from Megan Racing test pipes. For the VR30 guys, I recommend the Megan lower downpipes. I don't want you guys to confuse the two. High flow cats, I would recommend for the 3.7 because at least you don't have to deal with any check engine light codes. There's ways around it, like getting a tune, but if you just know that you just wanted to get, you don't want to deal with check engine lights at all, get a high flow catalyst converters for 3.7. Also, a lot of these parts in the 3.7 are interchangeable, so you can change 3.7 parts for at least test pipes and high flow cats between the G37, the 370Z, and a few other 3.7 models from the Nissan and Infiniti. All right. See, look, I went 7 minutes over when I said I was leaving, man. So I'm going to hang out with you guys for 23 more minutes. Right now it's 4:07 Eastern time. So 23 more minutes, I got to go, guys. Okay, cool. I think I answered that question. Wait, hold on, guys. Bear with me. Is the Q50 lighter than the Q60? They're relatively the same, but usually the sedan, the coupe should be heavier because they have to put more metal to reinforce, reinforce the body of the car so that you don't die. But usually the coupes are usually heavier. But I don't know. You could just double check that on Google. What voids a car's warranty from Dillard? It's whatever the dealer wants to say they want to avoid. Literally, if the dealer says, "Hey, you put let's say your speakers blew out," and the dealer said, "Oh my God, you put in the wrong, I don't know, not CD. You added a subwoofer to the back, but you blew out the stereo or something. Something happened with the radio." They can say you added a subwoofer. You can add lowering springs, and they're like, "Well, your axle's leaking because of the lowering springs." It could be anything, man. Anything. It's up to them, man. I know that answer is not good enough, but it's true. It's all up to the dealer's discretion. Bear with me, guys. I hope you guys are having a good afternoon, man. And I just want to say thank you again for hanging out with me, because we've been hanging out for a while. And I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about the last few weeks, the last few months, and at least the last couple of years, man. Some of my OGs that's been hanging out with me for a while. I'm super appreciative. And the new guys that just joining in, yo, I'm thankful for you guys too. You caught me a little late, but if you guys have a lot of questions, I have older videos that talk about a lot of stuff, and all you have to do is just Google it or YouTube it, and I probably made a video about it. But let's keep going. If the new 400Z comes out, would you consider getting that car? To be honest, I did consider getting it, but knowing that it's going to be a clout car, that a lot of people are going to get it, I think I'll be drowned out compared to other bigger YouTubers, because even though I would have a lot of information on the platform, I'll get drowned out by bigger YouTubers. I just will. You know, at the end of the day, we like seeing race videos. I'm not a big race channel. I'm not a racer or anything like that. I do try my best to give you guys that content, but this channel is necessarily DIYs and information and technically product reviews and pretty much how to like the ABCs on the modifications for this car. So at least you guys know there's a path of bricks to follow, you know. But other YouTubers, they'll just get the 370Z, throw whatever expensive parts on it, bag it, Nardo gray it. I mean, I'm not coming in shots at Fresh Kick. Shout out to him. His cars look great, but they're gonna do that type of stuff to make the car look good, and then they may race it or drift it or whatever. But I would consider it, but not really, you know. Plus, I don't know how it looks. We gotta see. We gotta wait and see. You don't know what's gonna happen in the future. Bear with me, guys. The comments went backwards. Sorry. Okay. I feel like I missed a question here. Pedal Commander. Hey, Boost, your thoughts on Pedal Commander and any other digital carb controller, good or bad with sudden power drop many users are experiencing? Pedal Commander just modulates the sensitivity of the gas pedal. That's all it does. What I would say is it just changes the driving experience. It makes it feel like the gas pedal is more peppy. Doesn't mean the car is faster. It's just that the gas pedal isn't lazy anymore. So it just changes the all-around driving experience. That's really it. That's just my honest review and opinion of that. I believe the Pedal Commander is a little on the more expensive side, and you guys can get the Burger tuning version now. I think it's like $150, so it's about half the price of the Pedal Commander. So somebody came there and undercut them for almost a full 50%. So check out the Burger tuning version. I plan on upgrading my exhaust and tuning. I still want something somewhat quiet. Any thoughts on exhaust to reach at least 400 horsepower with the VR30 that won't go crazy? Well, cars already come with the Red Sport already comes with 400 horsepower, so that's about it. Like, I mean, you just want an exhaust that sounds good. My recommendation, because I'm an older dude, I like the NVIDIA exhaust, but you have ARC, you have Fast Intentions, you have, was it GT House or whatever they call it, however they pronounce it, and a few others. You have MBRP. My recommendation, YouTube it. Once you YouTube it, listen to the sound clips, and that's the best I can tell you to do. But I prefer NVIDIA because it's on the quieter side. That's my recommendation. I plan on upgrading. Okay, cool. I thought so. I heard the 60 was bigger. Okay, cool. Can I put mega lower downpipes on the VR30 and stock exhaust? Yes. It bolts up perfectly fine. It's just that the YPIPE is, I believe, 2 inches in a diameter or 1.57 inch. So you'll have this bigger hole from the mega downpipe, and you have a smaller hole for the YPIPE. It's not really going to cause anything. Like, as long as you bolt everything back up, you shouldn't really have any problems. But some people are going to still sit there and say, if it's not designed exactly the same 2.5 inch, it ain't going to run. People have done it all the time. A few people. It's perfectly fine to do, and you actually will feel a little boost of power because it's not as much restriction in exhaust. But I would recommend still pairing that up with a 2.5 inch CATBACK later down the line. Okay, cool. The Q60 is more nimble in the corners. Damn light boost. I'm sure. Thank you, man. Okay, I do audio systems. We're currently going to do a huge audio system upgrading. I have not seen any audio upgrades in Q50X. Why? Well, yo, Raider, you're right. In my Maxima days, I was super into systems. Like, I've designed some systems. And I'm not talking about like designed in a way of like bolting it up and stuff. Like, I designed my own. I changed out I use JBL. Was it EVs? Yeah, I haven't been into this. I even use Powell because, you know, Powell is more on the cheap side. I don't know if they still make Powell, but I definitely designed a lot of systems in my own cars back in the day, and boy, I miss them. Some of you guys are Spanish, they call it what, chuchuchero? So I had one of those too, and it was fun. But as I got older, I'm not into it heavy. But not a lot of people I've seen do aftermarket systems in this car for some reason. At least even show cars, I just haven't seen it. Most people do air suspension and they do up the interior, but I don't know why. VR30, no lie. 45 minutes was like 45 minutes ago. Yeah, Stinky. I mean, yeah, I was gonna dip, but Yo, I'm gonna hang out with you guys for another 15 minutes, man, because I do have some stuff I have to do. So regardless, I have to go left, north, right. So true. Is it bad to reset the ECU every week? I have a V36, and I don't think the pedal response snappy. I don't see it as a problem if you want to reset the ECU. I don't see what's gonna really go wrong. You're just resetting the learnt trims from the ECU. That's it. But if you want, you can, like I said, you can get a pedal commander. I don't think they make a burger tuning one for the G37, but take a look on the burger tuning site and see if they have a pedal commander and their own version, and see if that can help with that pedal sensitivity, because it's a good trick. I had it on my car for about almost a year or two, and then when I was JB4, it gave the car a better feel. You know, it was a better driving experience. Okay, bet. Thanks, you booth or downpipes. CATBACK coming soon. Okay, cool. I'm doing a 5K watt system in mind. Ooh, that's nice. The way I used to do my sound systems is I had 2 amps, one for the door speakers and the tweeters, and the second amp was just for the, either I had a 212 or a 15. Usually I started small, so like 210s, and then I went to like 212s, then one single ported 12, and then one in an enclosure. To at one point I went to a 15, ported, and it was just too big, so I just went back down to a 12 and a ported. And speakers, I realized that when you go cheap, you're gonna blow them. So I ended up blowing like the cheaper, like Chinese eBay speakers. That were like, I think they were Pilot. It was a few others, but I ended up going with better high-end speakers like EVs for the mids and stuff like that. I forgot what the brand they were out, and I ended up with like a JBL 12. And I think my door speakers were like EVs, but it's been a while since I've done that, so I really can't remember. This is almost 10 years ago, but it was fun, and I definitely enjoyed the audio sound, man. I miss those days. I'm a high mids person. Like, I don't really care for bass as much, but I needed to be like have super clarity. Like, I love that. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Which motor do you think is better for long term, VR30 or B58? I haven't heard any issues with the B38. Honestly, in the forums that I am in for the B58, I really haven't heard of any real issues either. Even from their texts and their forums, I haven't seen much issues. Only when you start modifying things, you still see issues. Like, an injector could go out, but it doesn't make it a common thing. You have people who tune the car properly, and they may blow a turbo, but that's because people don't know what they're doing. But I haven't seen anything common with the B58. It seems really solid. How much more power can a JB4 add on to a stock Red Sport? Really about 50 horsepower. You'll add about 50 horsepower to a Red Sport. So you'll turn from 400 to about 450 horsepower. That's right around the rough. You could probably go a little higher. It all depends on the DA outside. It all depends on the elevation, the fuel you're using, and the temperature outside. That's what it all depends about. You know, turbo cars run better in cooler climate. That's just how it is. But typically about 50 horsepower. Okay, cool. What is a need to go from 300 400 on a twin turbo? On Jose, you can do 2 things. If you want to go from 300 to 400, like I stated, you can go with a Burger Tuning JB4 boost controller. It's just a device that plugs right in, and you just set it to a map, and you set it and forget it. That gains a quick boost of power, and it's pretty reliable. Or you can get a full-fledged tune. Full-fledged tune, you can leave the car stock and tune it, but you won't be able to get the most optimized power doing so. But tunes also could be the same. You can go with admin. You can go with Racebox, AMS, or any other good companies out there that's been working on the platform for a while. So that's my recommendation. But Burger Tuning is one of the go-tos because it's relatively easy for you guys to do. You buy it, it gets there in 2-3 days. You plug it in, and you set it, and you forget it. You get a good bump in power too. Also, to throw that out there, because someone asked me about the Red Sport. Red Sport's usually only because you guys come with 400 horsepower already. You guys only gain a bit more power because you can't push your PSI really high before you start running into fuel restrictions. The 3.0 has less power, so we can turn the boost up a bit more in the sense that we run, 3.0's 300 horsepower version, right, runs at right around 10 psi. Let's just leave it at that, 10 psi. And the Red Sports run around 14 psi, right? So let's say you go with map 2. let's just say 5 psi above stock. That means you're running like 19 psi on your Red Sport. For the 3.0s, you can add plus 9 psi on top of the 10, which gives you 19 psi. That means both are running right around the same psi. You really can't run 9 psi on top of the Red Sport, because now you're running, what's the math on that, 23 psi. You're on stock tune, so the car is going to start choking. It doesn't have enough fuel to dump. It's on stock fuel. It's not going to know what to do. It's going to just be choking and dying on itself. So it can't run that amount of psi. Same thing for the VR30. So that's just I think I never really spoke about that on video, about how, yeah, you basically running the same psi but different maps on both different platforms, I would say. Not platforms, but 300 horsepower versions to 400 horsepower versions. Damn, I feel like I didn't explain that well. If I didn't explain that well, guys, just tell me to re-emphasize it. But I want to run through the questions because I got 10 minutes with you guys. What is a need to? Okay, cool. Have you made any radio upgrades to this platform? Reyes, no, I actually haven't. No, I haven't. I haven't changed out the radio at all. I really would like to get the Tesla screen. I like the design of it, but it is on more the expensive side. Maybe in the next 6 months, we'll see what happens. Because if I am completely keeping this specific Q50, and I mean if I'm keeping this one, doesn't mean I might not get another Q50 after this one, after I get this one back, or Q60. But we'll see what happens in the future. Okay, I have 14, cool. I had the Bose in my 2015 too. Jose just loaded on pipes on 2. Do you think 20s on a 3.0 adds excessive rotational mass? I ditched the run flats and went with 245. Supposedly the niche 30 pounds each and might sell them. It's up to you, man. It all depends on the weight of the wheel. The stock wheels are pretty heavy already. I think they're over 30 pounds each wheel, and then that doesn't count the tires. But it's always good to go with a lighter wheel. It always feels better. Like the actual ride, like how the car feels and handles, is very important. But you also got to talk about tires here too. You go with a crappy, shitty tire, you're not gonna have a good time either. But you can definitely go with 20s. You know, they definitely look good. Just don't go with thin tires, because I don't want you guys cracking your wheels and stuff. Okay, cool. My coolant was dropping, but there was no visible leak. People are saying it's the block that cracked. I took it to the dealership. They said I'm going to need a new engine. And you know what, bro? They're not going to tell you what it is. Most of them are not going to tell you what the issue is. I noticed that not a lot of Nissan techs really go out there and say why they were having coolant issues. It could be a crack in the block, so it's an internal leak. It could be the turbos might have been sipping on some of the coolant. You never know. But it wasn't a large enough leak that the car was probably smoking a lot. So, and plus a lot of if you have cats, the cats actually filter out and superheat a lot of that coolant. So you'll never see coolant shooting out the exhaust unless it's a really bad leak. But at that point, that means that the motor isn't running properly either. You heard people with the problem. Yes, I have heard a few people that have had this issue, but at least when I read in the forums, personally, no, I don't have anyone that has that issue, but I've definitely read it in the forums with a few people who've had this. But you're talking about a handful of people out of the millions of Q50s out there. So I don't think it's a common enough issue yet. Every car is going to have its defect, you know. I have been informed a lot of people in audio upgrades. Nobody can figure out audio. There are wiring diagrams. I have to check on my phone. Yo, at LA Boxing, hit me up on my IG at boostinmotion. I got to answer. I haven't been on it in the last few days, but I have the FSM. I have the full service manual. So I think I have the audio diagram for you. So if you have an IG, hit me up at boostinmotion, and hopefully I remember, or when I get to your information, I'll send you screenshots of it because I have the full service manual. Can you talk about running E85 on a stock 3.0? I have a few videos about that at Zaki. I have a few videos about that, and I don't really want to answer that on this video, but I'll say it briefly. E85, high pressure fuel pump from AMS or School Performance. 2, low pressure fuel pump. AMS sells that one. 3, you need a flex fuel kit. You can get that from Flex It or Flex something, whatever you call it. So that's 3. 4, you're gonna need a tune. That's it. You're gonna need a tune. Of course, you want to get all your other bolt-ons such as heat exchanger, lower downpipes, and CATBACK exhaust, etc. But mainly, you need those 4 things: high pressure fuel pump, low pressure fuel pump, a flex fuel kit, and a full-fledged tune. That's it. Of course, E85 too. I believe that people will be shocked at how much power the VR30 will handle on stock internals. I've seen, to be honest, yes, the 3.7 VHR is definitely take a lot of wheel horsepower, but you got to stop getting confused. Like, wheel horsepower is nice and all, but what kills motors and transmission is torque. How much torque can these bearings take? How much torque can these rods take? How much heat can these pistons take? That's the most important part. And I think, I'm not a tuner. I really wish I can get into it and learn it. Maybe someday I'll take the time out and like really want to learn it and know that other side. But when you talk about those other parameters, especially at the VQ37, such a high compression motor running 700 wheel horsepower is dope. But they're probably running meth. They're probably running E85. They're probably keeping timing within a good threshold. You know, they're paying attention to a lot of stuff to make sure the car is running right. But honestly, torque is what kills motors, man. It kills motors, it kills transmissions, and that's it. Thoughts on running BMS heat exchanger with just one pump? I've been doing it for quite a while. I haven't had any issues. But when you run two heat exchanger pumps, it does keep the flow up and a lot more consistency. So as Cadro Technology says it's a push-pull system. So you have one pump that pretty much like pushing it into the heat exchangers, and you have another one pushing it to the air to water intercoolers on top of the motor. So it just keeps the flow going. And it makes sense. One pump just pushing all that fluid. Even on my car, I mean, it's doing what it got to do, but it would benefit if I had two heat exchanger pumps. Boost, do you know anyone who has installed turbo speed sensors on a Silver Sport? No, not at all. That would probably be a ECU thing too. The ECU is going to have to be programmed to be able to read that parameter. At least I would assume. I'm not a tuner, but to add the sensors, you would have to have it as part of the harness and run it to the ECU. So, but I don't know anybody with it. I would say that this turbo speed sensors are a benefit because you can see how fast the turbines spin. Shout out to all the tuners out there who've given this information, from AMS to RT Tuning to Racebox and other ones. You can monitor how fast the turbines are spinning. Because if you have a boost leak, right, you're not really gonna know you have a boost leak, because what the tuner is, all he's gonna do is just turn the boost up, keep the wastegates closed as long as possible until the map sensors pick up the boost pinout. But your turbos might be spinning at 300,000 RPM to hit 18 psi because you have a boost leak. And if it's at 300,000 psi, 300,000 RPM, this is what's gonna happen. Boom, the turbo's gonna go. They're spinning too fast. I was thinking the same thing. I wanted to add another. Thanks, man. Sure. Okay. All right, guys. So about to go right now. I definitely was on here for another half an hour. If you guys have already not hit the like button, hit the like button right now. I'm also going to see you guys tomorrow, Thursday, and I'm also going to see you guys Friday. So I'm going to go live once again, probably not at this time, probably later in the day around 6 or 7. So just be looking out for that notification. I'm going to be live on YouTube because this is pretty much my last few days under 25,000 subscribers, and I just want to talk to y'all. I don't want to make any videos. I don't want to do any of that right now. I just want to just talk to you guys back and forth and give you guys the information that you need. And I'm just so appreciative of you guys hanging out with me, talking, laughing. I'm not drinking today. I was only eating a little bit, and even then I didn't get to eat enough, you know. So if you want to support me, support the channel, there's a Teespring account below to buy merch, boostinmotion shirts and stuff like that. Also, if you guys want no way to support me, it's just hitting the like button. It's also just watching the video from the start to finish. Like, stuff like that actually helps me out so much. You guys don't even know how much that stuff helps me out. And I'm just thankful for it all. I'm just thankful for the almost 25,000 of you guys who just hit the subscribe button and you guys hang out with me. I'm appreciative of that. Sometimes I give you guys information when it comes from racing. Sometimes I give you guys information when it comes to installs. Sometimes I give you information about products. Sometimes I just give them information just talking car crap. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just super appreciative of it. And you guys are going to see me tomorrow, man. We're going to be talking tomorrow. If you guys have any other questions, hit me up on IG, Boost in Motion. If you guys have a question on Facebook, hit me up at Boost in Motion on Facebook. I'm almost at 1,000 likes on Facebook. So if you guys haven't already added me on Facebook, can you guys go do that right now too? After this, go to Facebook and put in Boost in Motion and hit like on my page on Facebook. And finally, some of you guys don't like being on social media because, you know, you guys are whores. I'm just saying. But, you know, you just, you know, you want to keep your business off of there. So you could also send me an email at boostinmotion on gmail.com and everything. I'm super appreciative of you guys. I'm gonna go because I have a few things I gotta do, but I just want to say I love you guys, man. I'm loving this journey, and I never thought I would even make it to this point. It's a humbling experience. So I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, and I hope I get to see you guys tomorrow. If not, you'll see me in the next video. Thank you guys. Super appreciative. You guys have a good day. Thank you.